What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home? A very good evening to and welcome to Primetime News. I'm Sandhu Fernando. Let's now take a look at your headlines for tonight.
News First Headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
KDK, the leader in indoor air quality. KDK, the reliable fan.
No issues regarding national security, a statement by the Defence Secretary. Attempt to shoot ambulance driver opposite Panadura Hospital. Finance Minister says government is considering approaching IMF. Supreme Court fixes date to hear petition against Cabinet. New standards for organic fertilizer. Public opinion to be sought. Avantgarde chairman says he will speak to the president on Ranjan's release.
News First Headlines. Main sponsor.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
KDK, the leader in indoor air quality. KDK, the reliable fan.
First up in news here at home, Defence Secretary retired General Kamal Gunaratne says that there are no issues regarding national security in Sri Lanka.
The construction of the proposed Air Force Hospital along Kirimandalamawata in Narahampita began under the auspices of the Defence Secretary today. The proposed hospital complex comprises 12 floors, of which 5 floors will be constructed under the first phase of the project. The Defence Secretary spoke to the media after the ceremony. The word national security can be interpreted in many ways. In this wide spectrum, protecting the country and its citizens from foreign terrorist attacks or invasions is just one aspect of national security. For whatever reason, if terrorists are posing a threat to the motherland and its citizens, that is a threat to national security. If our citizens are falling like flies during a disaster, that is also a threat to national security. For example, if you take the COVID-19 pandemic, if our citizens are dying rapidly, it is definitely a threat to national security. But some factions are trying to gain political advantage by spreading different opinions in society. We are not ready to respond to those opinions. We are not bound to answer them. We have ensured national security since the day we took over this responsibility. We are not ready to come in front of the media and spread fear among the people. But the crime forces, police, CID and the state intelligence services have come a long way forward. We will never disregard national security of our country. As the Defence Secretary, I can responsibly say that the national security of our country is completely ensured. We will ensure that no harm is done to any of our citizens.
A man on a motorcycle had attempted to open fire at the ambulance driver of a private hospital today. The incident had occurred opposite the Panadura base hospital this morning, and police spokesperson Nihal Thalduwa said that the shooter had not been able to open fire as the firearm had jammed.
Crime Watch.
A man had attempted to shoot an ambulance driver opposite the Panadura base hospital at 11 this morning. Police said 4 men on 2 motorcycles had chased the ambulance. An expectant mother was being moved from a private hospital to the Panadura base hospital. One man had got off the motorcycle and opened fire at the ambulance as it was entering the hospital. The men who attempted the shooting had fled the area after their attempt had ended in a failure. Police officers had discovered a bullet near the gate of the hospital when conducting investigations. Police spokesperson SSP Nihal Thalduwa said several teams are conducting investigations to arrest the suspects.
Avantgarde chairman Nisanka Senadipati has said he would meet the president to discuss the release of former MP Ranjan Ramanayaka. He made these remarks during a meeting with artists today.
Some veteran artists had met with Avantgarde chairman Nisanka Senadipati at a hotel in Pitakotte yesterday. They had handed over a memorandum seeking the release of MP Ranjan Ramanayaka.
සේනාධිපති මහත්මයා මං හිතනවා අපි වෙනුවෙන් උත්සාහයක් දරයි අපිට මාර්ගය හදලා දෙයි කියන විශ්වාසය මතයි මෙතනට ආවේ.
ජනාධිපතිතුමාට පුළුවන් නම් ඒ විධායක බලතල යම්කිසි දෙයක් පාවිච්චි කරලා ජනාධිපතිතුමාට පුළුවන් නම් සමාව දෙන්න. මම හිතන්නේ එතනට පාලමක් හදන්න තමයි අපි ඔබතුමාගේ තාමත් ගෞරවයෙන් ඉල්ලා සිටින්නේ. අපි දන්නවා ඔබතුමාට ඒකට හැකියාව තියෙනවා.
රංජන්ට මතක තියාගන්න මෙම වත්පන්න ආණ්ඩුව කිසි කෙනෙක්ව වැරදි නොකර එහෙම නැත්නම් අනවශ්‍ය
The government hasn't tried to imprison a person unnecessary without doing anything wrong. We don't have any issue with Ranjan. As far as I know, the government doesn't go after anyone. I will convey the request made by all of you on Ranjan to the relevant officials. I will definitely hand over this petition to the president within the next 2 or 3 days.
කීප පෙත්සම ගරු ජනාධිපතිතුමාට අනිවාර්යයෙන් මම ඉදිරිපත් කරනවා. දවස් දෙකක් තුනක් ඉඳලා ඇතුළත.
මම හිතන්නේ නිදහස් දවසේදී ඔහුට නිදහස ලැබීම අනිවාර්යයි කියලා හිතන නිසා ඒ සාර්ථක වෙනවා කියලා මට ලොකු විශ්වාසයක් තියෙනවා.
MP Manusha Nanayakara expressed these views in Galle today.
The Inter-Parliamentary Union or the IPU had expressed its support for the release of Ranjan Ramanayaka. Therefore, as part of the government, the President has the responsibility of listening to the international organisation regardless of whether he listens to the Sri Lankan Parliament. He should take the relevant steps for the release of Ranjan Ramanayaka. Sajid Premadasa had made this request on 3 or 4 occasions. We are continuing to seek for his release. We can see that some movements are coming forward to call for the release of Ranjan Ramanayaka, so that doing so would bring a good name to the President. But it doesn't matter. If any organisation or movement comes together, we are happy if they are calling for the release of Ranjan Ramanayaka.
Minister Chamal Rajapaksa has said that the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa is recovering after recent medical surgery. He expressed these views in Gampola today.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa couldn't attend this event because of a surgery he underwent recently. However, his wishes for the project are included in this plaque. I think it's a great blessing to even attend an event of this nature. Even in ancient times, kings used to seek shelter at temples at times of trouble, such as invasions. Minister Chamal Rajapaksa expressed these views after unveiling the newly built Sakman Buddha statue at the Naranvita Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Viharya in Ihalaiwala, Gampola. Financial Times has reported that Sri Lanka is negotiating debt relief with international bondholders and is weighing an approach to the IMF. Speaking to the Financial Times, Finance Minister Basil Rajapaksa had said that the government is negotiating and trying all options to avoid a debt default and to alleviate the economic crisis. He had said that the government is negotiating with bondholders on repaying international sovereign bonds and also with creditors to adjust the debt repayment. Sri Lanka has almost $7 billion in debt repayments this year, but less than $3 billion of foreign reserves. However, speaking to CNBC recently, Central Bank Governor Ajit Nivad Cabral was certain that Sri Lanka does not require the assistance of the IMF.
And why not go to the IMF for a relief package?
What I'm going to say, we have made sure that these are being financed with new sources of finance, which allows us to settle the ISP loans. We get the breathing space, as you quite rightly mentioned, which allows us thereafter to take new steps to increase our earnings as well as have new non-debt inflows. We are monetizing certain assets, and I think through that strategy, we will be able to have a lot more sustainable debt portfolio, and that's what we are aiming for.
Meanwhile, Verite research says over-optimistic fiscal and macroeconomic projections has led to Sri Lanka credit downgrades, among other reasons. In a report, Verite research has pointed out that Fitch Ratings downgraded Sri Lanka 5 times between 2015 and 2021. Sri Lanka's ratings had dropped from BB negative in 2015 to CC in 2021. It means the risk of debt default had risen from elevated vulnerability to very high. Pakistan had shared the B negative rating with Sri Lanka in November of 2020 but has not been downgraded since then. But Sri Lanka's ratings have dropped to CC, making it the lowest among its regional peers.
Has the power crisis been resolved? Authorities have decided to avoid imposing power cuts until the 31st of January. The decision was reached during a meeting between the Public Utilities Commission and the Ceylon Electricity Board. The discussion had lasted for about 2 hours. We pointed out that we can run without power cuts using the current capacity. We discussed about the plans until the weekend, until the generator at Norachole is reactivated.
ඊට පස්සේ සිටුේෂන් එක ඊට පස්සේ තමයි අපිට බලන්න වෙන්නේ. තීරණය කරනු ලැබුවා මහජන උපයෝගිතා කොමිසම මගින් අපිට ලබන සඳුදා වෙනකන්.
The Public Utilities Commission decided that there is no need to go for power cuts until Monday, but there is a shortage of about 30 megawatts during the peak hours tomorrow. We informed the Ceylon Electricity Board to manage this situation. We have formulated a plan to have generators on standby after discussing with the CEB.
මේ අවස්ථාවේදී පාවිච්චි කරන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රමයක්.
The CEB says that the Sabugaskanda power plant has received 33,000 litres of furnace oil.
In an interview with the Economic Times, Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to India, Milinda Moragoda, said a cross-border electricity grid is an area where Sri Lanka is seeking to integrate into the Indian grid. He said, quote, few of India's other neighbours have benefited from this model, end quote. Sri Lanka's High Commissioner to India, Milinda Moragoda, has also said Sri Lanka hopes to integrate its economy with India, focusing on 8 sectors including electricity. These 8 sectors include energy, refineries, electricity grid, ports, real estate, tourism and information and communications technology for attracting investments from India.
The Supreme Court today allowed the respondents to file objections against the petition seeking to cancel the agreement signed with the Indian Oil Corporation on the Trincomalee oil tank farm. The Attorney General and the Minister of Finance are among the respondents to the petition. During today's hearing, the court ordered the objections to be filed on or before the 11th of March. The court permitted the petitioners to amend the names of the respondents as one respondent, Dr. P.B. Jayasundara, is no longer the President's Secretary. The petitions have been filed by Venerable Alle Gunawansathero, Venerable Bengamuya Nalakathero and the Secretary of the National Bhikkhu Front, Venerable Wakamulle Uditathero. Even as we speak, there is a severe fuel crisis in our country. The country is also facing a power crisis at the same time. That is the outcome of selling and leasing our country's national resources by the authorities. If we had our country's resources by this time, there would be no power crisis or fuel crisis in the country. Samagi Janabalawege Parliamentarian Dr. Harshadi Silva expressed the following views on the economic situation in the country during a media briefing today.
This government that came to office promising to ensure they will look after the interests of the local entrepreneurs and local business people have dealt another blow to them. The other day, Nestle has filed with the Colombo Stock Exchange a document informing them in order for them to import their milk powder that they have organized a facility from their central treasury to borrow $45 million US. I am not saying what Nestle has done is wrong or inappropriate or anything. That is their business strategy. They have done it. That's perfectly okay. But my point is, now what is happening to the local entrepreneurs and industrialists the government came to protect? Now where is the money for them? They can't import any raw material. They can't import capital goods. They can't import intermediate goods. They can't import anything. By and large, the entrepreneurs that are dependent on imported inputs for their own manufacturing are getting sidelined and cornered. What I'm asking the government is, this is how do you do? One segment is completely denied of access to dollars, whereas some others have free and cheap access. So is this what you came promising to do?
The United States is planning to introduce many measures to control inflation that reached 7% in December, making it the highest in 4 decades. The measures would be taken to reduce inflation to 2%. The US Federal Reserve has said it will raise the federal funds rate probably by 0.25% as one of its measures. When banks increase interest rates, fewer people would want to borrow money, causing spending and prices to drop. This eventually results in low inflation. The US Central Bank will also keep reducing its asset purchasing by $30 billion a month, bringing them to an end in early March. Generally, assets are purchased to increase money supply. The US said it is also planning to increase its treasury holdings as it would be transformed into reserves.
Inflation remains well above our longer-run goal of 2%. We continue to expect inflation to decline over the course of the year. We understand that high inflation imposes significant hardship. We will use our tools both to support the economy and a strong labor market and to prevent higher inflation from becoming entrenched.
The US is planning to introduce several measures as its inflation reached 7% in December. Sri Lanka's inflation hit 14% last month. While the US attempts to reduce money supply, Sri Lanka has printed 157 billion rupees so far this year. The central bank had increased policy rates this month for the first time in August, although inflation was rising since last year. The exchange rate against the US dollar has also been fixed at around 202 rupees.
We have more news in store for you, but first a quick commercial break. Do stay tuned.
News First. Main sponsor.
Sun All-Purpose Disinfectant Spray.
Valuable Finance, best finance company.
Providing science education to children in far-flung villages of the country. TechBus.
Organized by Newsfirst and Slit Institute.
TechBus.
Main sponsor.
Slit Knowledge University, challenging convention and redefining education.
Welcome back. Continuing in more local news. The Public Health Inspectors Union says the actual number of COVID-19 figures are higher than the figures published by the government. They claim that more than 2,000 cases are being detected daily. The PHI union said infections are rising especially at schools and universities in the country.
What is the current situation of COVID-19 in Sri Lanka?
Sri Lanka recorded 351 COVID-19 infections on the 1st of January. On the 4th of January, official figures showed that 629 infections were recorded that day. 550 infections were recorded the following day. The number of daily infections rose to 653 on the 12th of January, with the average rate until the 18th hovering at around 600 and 700. But from the 19th of this month, the daily number of infections surpassed 800 before crossing the 900 mark yesterday. The number of COVID-19 cases in Sri Lanka has continued to increase sharply since the 1st of January. Health authorities confirmed 23 deaths today, making it the highest number of deaths in a single day in January so far. 7 more deaths were reported today compared to yesterday. Health officials point out that treatment centers are currently using 6,458 beds to treat people infected by COVID-19. 63 ICU beds are also being used for this purpose.
The number of infections detected on the ground level is 2 or 3 times higher than these numbers. That is very clear. We are witnessing signs of a dangerous situation that is looming in the country at present. Based on tests, we believe that most of the infections are caused by the Omicron variant. There is a possibility that a large number of infections can be reported. We can't predict how many people around us have been infected. That is why the chance of the transmission of the virus is very high.
අන්න ඒ නිසාත් ඒ අය අතර මේ රෝගයේ පැතිරීමට තියෙන ඉඩකඩ වැඩි.
මේ අවස්ථාවේදී අපිට පෙනියන දෙයක් තමයි.
What we can see, there is a spike in COVID-19 infections. About 1.5 months ago, we were thinking about closing down the ward for COVID-19 infections and also whether the ICU facilities for COVID-19 cases should be closed. But we now feel that we would need more wards to treat them.
වෙහි මේ සංකල්පයේ කෙසේ වෙතත් අලුතෙන් වාර්තු දාන්න වෙන තත්ත්වයක් තියෙනවා.
What is the situation at schools?
The Public Health Inspectors Union says more COVID-19 cases are being reported in schools. The most number of cases in a school has been reported from the Nuvareli district. The PHI Union said it has observed that COVID-19 is spreading rapidly among schools in the Western Province.
Many infections are being reported in schools. There are schools in which there are more than 20 infected children in a class. The number of infections in schools and universities is increasing. In Colombo, there are about 5 or 6 infected teachers in some education zones. Therefore, we believe that we must pay special attention to this. Some classrooms in schools are closed at present. Some sections have been closed off in schools. There is no point of hiding it. We need a solution to this problem.
What steps must be taken at present?
We must expedite the process of obtaining vaccines. According to the data that we have, 5 million people have obtained booster vaccines. Our target is to reach 16 million. We can see that there is a lethargic attitude towards this. The spread of the virus poses a threat to high-risk groups.
මේක අපි දකින්නේ මේකේ පැතිරීම හරහා අර දැඩි අවදානම් සහිත කණ්ඩායමට ප්‍රබල තර්ජනයක් ඇති වෙනවා.
Denmark has said a new Omicron subvariant seems to be more contagious than the first subvariant. Denmark's health minister said that the BA2 Omicron subvariant seems to be more contagious than the BA1 variant. Denmark's top infectious disease authority has said BA2 could be 1.5 times more infectious than BA1. But an initial analysis by the institute showed no difference in the risk of hospitalization for BA2 compared to BA1. The World Health Organization has warned that the next COVID-19 variant could be more contagious than Omicron.
Omicron will not be the last variant that you will hear us speaking about. The next variant of concern will be more fit. And what we mean by that is it will be more transmissible because it will have to overtake what is currently circulating. The big question is whether or not future variants will be more or less severe.
Meanwhile, the government is preparing to change the standards of organic fertilizer. Sri Lanka Standards Institute said the proposed standards have been published for the people to express their opinions. The draft containing new standards for what the SLSI calls specialty fertilizer. Is this an attempt to import Chinese fertilizer to the country?
On multiple occasions, experts who appeared on our Mavata program on Surasa TV predicted the impact on agriculture due to the hasty decision to ban chemical fertilizer in May last year. What is happening in the country at present? The government has now admitted that harvests for the Maha season have declined. They have allocated 40 billion rupees to compensate farmers and also taken steps to import rice to the country. Just as paddy harvests have dropped, farmers who cultivate vegetables and other crops have also seen their harvests decline this season. The drop in harvest eventually paved the way for the entry of imported beetroot into the Sri Lankan market. The government also had to pay $6.9 million to a Chinese fertilizer company despite rejecting its stocks over safety concerns. Liquid nano-nitrogen fertilizer was also imported from India at a high cost. To compensate farmers, the government has now set aside funds that are higher than what was spent on fertilizer subsidies. Didn't this situation occur as a result of the failure to identify the issue, as pointed out by experts repeatedly? What are authorities trying to do at present? A stock of Chinese organic fertilizer wasn't allowed into the country due to concerns surrounding its standards and also plant quarantine regulations. The Sri Lanka Standards Institute has now published a draft containing new standards for what it calls specialty fertilizer. It says the public can send in their opinions until the 26th of March. Agriculture Minister Mahindananda Alutgamake said the new guidelines were prepared in line with the requests made by the Agriculture Ministry. The minister said the previous standards on fertilizer containing bacteria are no longer practical. K.A. Anil, the Senior Deputy Director attached to the Agriculture Division of the Sri Lanka Standards Institute, said the new standards will cover fertilizer with special properties.
This is a serious situation. We must prepare standards to protect the country and not on the basis of how we should import the goods into the country. If we take a closer look, we can see that the plant quarantine laws in our country are very strong. Therefore, as experts, we feel it is regrettable that a very good system is being changed in this manner based on the whims and fancies of a few.
$6.9 million is a big amount, especially during these times. If we bring this product into the country on the grounds that we had previously agreed to import this product, I feel that the damage that will be caused in the future can potentially be more than $6.9 million. Let's consider the Erwinia bacteria. If that enters our soil, we will definitely have to import agrochemicals as a solution to the diseases that it may cause among crops. We might have to spend way more than $6.9 million for several years on that.
The
Colombo Commercial Fertilizer Company has said that a new stock of fertilizer is to be imported before March from the Chinese company that earlier exported the rejected fertilizer stock.
They had to pay a compensation of $6.9 million as a result of importing fertilizer without testing the samples first. When we go to the market, we even check the quality of ladies' fingers before buying them. But what is the solution that they have reached? They are trying to import any type of fertilizer by formulating new standards without conducting tests or following the plant quarantine process. Under the category of special fertilizer, any type of waste can be imported to the country in a way that will damage the environment, pose health risks to the people and destroy agriculture in Sri Lanka. They are preparing the regulations required for that. Farmers say that the purchasing price for paddy set by the government at 75 rupees a kilo is not a justifiable amount. This was the situation in Nachadua. The government is offering us 75 rupees for a kilo of paddy. It costs us more than that to cultivate it. How can we pay back our loans? We heard that mill owners are purchasing paddy for 90 or 95 rupees. This was one of the most difficult seasons for us. The crops have decreased by 75% compared to the previous seasons. Our expenses were greater than our income. The private sector purchases paddy at a higher price. If not, we will just feed this to the birds. Farmers in Alahara also say that 75 rupees for a kilo of paddy is insufficient. We are not going to cultivate next season if they don't buy our paddy for at least 100 rupees a kilo. A kilo of paddy has reached 90 to 100 rupees in the market. We have spent more than 150 rupees for a kilo of paddy. We are not ready to dance according to the government's tune. We will not sell paddy at their price.
The government says it has planned massive development projects for this year.
No matter how tough the times are, Gotabaya Rajapaksa will never say no to developing the country. We will not slow down development by one bit. We will do our level best. We will build the highways and carry out other development projects to ensure that Sri Lanka will be a developed nation by the end of the pandemic. The road network will be developed in every electoral district. The development will take place on a large scale. We won't fall back in the face of adversity. We will move forward with all projects. This is our policy. We will launch a revolution on the 3rd of February. We are spending 85 billion rupees on development even at this time of great financial difficulty. That is an enormous financial commitment. Basil Rajapaksa is a leader who understands the woes of the people, who has a vision for the country. That is why he allocated 85 billion rupees covering all 14,000 Gram and Ildari divisions. This is why he made sure that cash flows into the hands of all sectors of society. This ranges from the hands of the ordinary businessman to the small stores on the road, to fishermen and everyone else. This was happening since the time Mahinda Rajapaksa was in power from the very beginning. When money is circulating in rural areas, that money will also reach the city. Small businesses in the city will be empowered, and in turn large-scale businessmen will also be empowered. That is the ripple effect of our bottom-up development program. This is the financial expertise of Basil Rajapaksa.
Meanwhile, Parliamentarian S.M. Marika of the Samagi Jana Balawege made a revelation today. The people are ready to chase away this government, but we are not in a hurry to do that. We are not ready to obtain the power by changing the head counts in the House or by carrying out any conspiracies. We don't want to deceive our people in that manner. We don't believe in such politics. We only obtain the power through an election. That is a democratic way of doing it. By next August, this government will split into 3 factions. More than 50 members of the government, who Basil Rajapaksa adored as his allies, will change their side. They will sit in the opposition. But this doesn't mean that they will sit with us. When that happens, we all will sign a proposal that will dissolve this parliament. By doing so, we can move to an election. From the election, we will be able to chase away this family which has become a curse to our nation. Meanwhile, Parliamentarian Buddhika Patirana also made a revelation about a corrupt deal at a media briefing today. When the 2 state entities are selling a litre of ethanol at 550 rupees, a private company in Ampara is selling a litre of ethanol for 805 to 835 rupees. Annually, the 2 state-owned sugar entities are producing around 10 million litres of ethanol. When you multiply 255 by 10 million, the sum adds up to 2,550 million rupees. This means our losses is around 2.55 billion rupees. What does the finance minister and the subject minister have to say about this? We continuously reveal these corruptions. It was we who revealed the lapses of the computer software used by Satosa. We also raised our concerns on giving out data in the Justice Ministry software to Malaysia. We raised queries on the sticker used in the alcohol bottle. Despite our queries, the government continued to remain silent on these issues.
Do you remember the sugar scam? On the 14th of October 2020, the government slashed the special commodity levy on a kilo of imported sugar from 50 rupees a kilo to 25 cents. 67 companies imported sugar during this period. One company imported 40% of the total sugar imported to the country. The company imported sugar by paying an import tax of 25 cents a kilo. They sold their stocks to Satosa between 125 to 127 rupees a kilo. Satosa in turn sold sugar to the people at 85 rupees a kilo. Doesn't this portray that the people were deceived not once but twice? Sri Lanka lost tax revenue of 15 billion rupees through these sugar imports. Couldn't this money that is circulating among the hands of a few be used to provide relief to the people? Shouldn't the government take steps to recover the lost revenue at least now, at the time of a great economic crisis?
Leader of the opposition, Sajith Premadasa, says that all public funds that were stolen from people using corrupt means shall be recovered by enforcing the law, and such money would be used for developing the nation.
They are telling the people to use bicycles. The person who makes this request never uses a bicycle. He goes around in a V8 Jeep. Even his family members use luxury vehicles. I only have one thing to say to such people. If you can't live up to those standards, don't direct others to do that. Now all chairmen are resigning from their positions. It seems like there is some competition to resign. One such chairman who recently resigned said that the reason for his resignation is the level of corruption within these entities. Don't forget that this is not about one entity. This is common everywhere in the country today. I can assure you that we as the Samagi Jana Balawege will always condemn such acts of corruption. Not only will we disregard such corrupt moves, we will also ensure that such people involved are punished by the law. We will not stop from there. We will recover those funds looted by them, and we as the Samagi Jana Balawege will drive this nation into an era where every stolen penny will be used for the betterment of the nation and its people.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa expressed these views during a ceremony to donate a 3-wheeler to the Meegoda Ayurveda Hospital. The vehicle was donated to the hospital in line with the Samagi Jana Balawege in Husmak and Janasuvaya programs.
The Supreme Court today decided to hear the fundamental rights petition seeking an order to declare the present cabinet as illegal on the 23rd of March. The court ordered the petitioners' lawyers to confirm the facts on behalf of the petitioners on that day. The petition was taken up before Justices Murdu Fernando, Yasantha Kodagoda and Shiran Gunaratna. Solicitor General Indika Deimuni de Silva, appearing for the Attorney General, told court that there are two comprehensive reports on the current composition of the cabinet. Lawyer Darshana Veraduage, appearing for the petitioners, told the court that the petitioners hope to file limited objections on these reports. The court accepted the request and ordered the petitioners to file objections on or before the 11th of February. The petition has been filed by engineer Kapila Renuka Pereira, the secretary of the Professionals National Front.
The case against lawyer Hijaz Hizbullah at the Puttalam High Court will be taken up tomorrow. Before the hearing, Lawyers for Lawyers has sent a letter to the Sri Lankan authorities on the circumstances surrounding the situation. Lawyers for Lawyers is an international body committed to upholding a free and independent legal profession.
A letter by the Lawyers for Lawyers was issued to express concern about the trial and ongoing detention of Hijaz Hizbullah. The letter by the organization calls upon the Sri Lankan authorities to release Hizbullah and drop all charges against him unless credible evidence is presented in proceedings that respect fair trial guarantees and put an end to all acts of harassment against him, including at the judicial level, and guarantee in all circumstances that all lawyers in Sri Lanka are able to carry out their legitimate professional activities without fear of reprisals and free of all restrictions, including judicial harassment.
Human Rights Watch says one of its directors has been targeted with the Pegasus spyware.
Human Rights Watch says its crisis and conflict director Lama Fakih had been targeted by the Pegasus spyware 5 times between April and August last year. It said, quote-unquote, governments should ban the sale and use of surveillance technology until human rights safeguards are in place. Pegasus is a spyware developed by Israeli cyber arms firm NSO Group. It is secretly introduced on people's mobile phones without even a single click from users. The spyware can gain complete access to a device, enabling surveillance of the targeted person.
The Labour Ministry has published a bill to amend the law on compensating workers for injuries or deaths.
The Labour Ministry has published a bill to amend the Workmans Compensation Ordinance. It raises the minimum compensation for the death of a worker from 181,665 rupees to 1.1 million rupees. Under the bill, the minimum compensation for permanent disability is to be raised to 1.2 million rupees from 196,083 rupees. The maximum compensation on both instances would be 2 million rupees. If the bill is passed, the funeral advance that can be paid for a deceased worker will be increased from 10,000 to 20,000 rupees. This will be deducted from the compensation paid for the death. However, the bill introduces a payment up to 50,000 rupees as funeral expenses in addition to the compensation. Under the current law, compensation is paid for deaths or injuries that occur at a workplace. But in the new law, it would apply for accidents that occur when a worker is coming to work or returning home. Employers are now liable to pay a surcharge of 10% of the compensation if it's not paid on time. But the bill proposes to increase it to range between 10 and 30%.
The US has rejected Russia's demand to bar Ukraine from NATO amid warnings Russia might invade its neighbor. Let's take a look at the developments on the Ukraine-Russia tensions and other stories making headlines globally.
The US has rejected a request by Russia to bar Ukraine from the NATO military alliance between 30 countries. US Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said he was offering Russia a serious diplomatic path forward should Russia choose it. Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said President Vladimir Putin would now assess Blinken's response. UK's Prince Andrew has denied being a close friend of convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell. This is in a legal response to the woman who is suing him in the US for sexual assault. Lawyers for the prince also say he wants to go before a jury to contest the claim brought by Virginia Giuffre. A fresh oil leak has occurred off Peru's coast during work on an underwater refinery pipeline. Peru's Environment Ministry didn't say how many liters were spilled. The leak had occurred after a major crude spill 10 days earlier. The major spill occurred on the 15th of January when a tanker was offloading crude at the same refinery. It spilled 6,000 barrels of crude into the ocean.
Hollywood star Leonardo DiCaprio has highlighted the plight of elephants due to plastic waste in an open landfill in eastern Sri Lanka. The Oscar-winning actor had tweeted a news item reported by the Associated Press on this matter, and it claimed that 2 more elephants were found dead during the weekend after consuming plastic trash in the dump in Pallakkudu village in Ampara district. Veterinarian officers are treating an elephant named Barana for its injuries at present. The elephant is usually spotted near the Kahalla, Pallekali Sanctuary and Kalavavar. We leave you tonight with this story. Do take care and good night. Wildlife officers said the elephant is about 35-year-old and is about 8 feet tall. The elephant had been injured after being attacked by another elephant. Wildlife officers said the elephant is recovering well.